Jim. To end the presentation, I would like to call on Mr. Steve Gotsis, the President of the Pammessinian Brotherhood Papaflessas, to say a few words in conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Well, I'm sure you'll all agree it's been a wonderful, informative night. It's been a few years now since our club embarked on to recognise the role of Gallipoli and the wider Peloponnese in the Greek campaign of 1941 and the role that the Australian service personnel played in it. We strongly believe that as members of the Greek diaspora in Australia, we owe it not only to those who took part in the campaign, but to future generations to revisit and build awareness of this important part of Greek and Australian history. But as has been mentioned, out of the terrible tragedy that is war came the bond that endures and has grown between Greek and Australians, both here and in Greece. We have been helped along this journey by Jim. His commitment to his work is impressive. His research has taken him to archives in Australia and across the world. He has walked the ground where these events took place, and he has listened to the stories of veterans and witnesses in Greece and Australia. He has managed to bring all this together in Grecian Adventure, illustrated by unique photos from the campaign itself and those that has taken himself at the sites concerned. He has told the story of the campaign through the experience of individual soldiers and nurses. We hear of farmers from Horsham, of labourers from Melbourne, and bank clerks from Adelaide, and many more. He helps us seize the conflict as one that affected ordinary people, not unlike ourselves. We've just heard from a number of families of veterans of the campaign. One of Jim's talents has been to connect with these families, listening to their stories of how their loved ones were affected by the war, enriching the book and our understanding of the campaign and its impact on Greeks and Australians. We also thank these veterans' families for the generosity in not only making their campaign photographs available for reproduction in Jim's book, but also in donating them to our own state library. Thank you. In this regard, I would like to thank the Grant and Huggins families that are with us here tonight, as well as the Vole family, who have just announced their intention to donate Captain Robert Vole's extensive photographic connection to the library too. On behalf of Papaflessas, thank you to all of you. Encouraging these donations has been a feature of Jim's commemorative work over many years, resulting in the donation of 6 major collections to the library to date. These donations ensure that the collections are preserved for the enjoyment and education of future generations, and they will ensure that the story of Australia's part in the Greek campaign of 1941 will not be forgotten. Finally, on behalf of Papaflessas, I would like to thank those who have assisted in the completion of the project, the Victorian Government and Veterans Council for approving our proposal for the writing and layout of the book, the various community organisations, veterans, families and individuals already mentioned who funded its publication, Nels Gosma and Kosdown Printing for their excellent work in laying out and producing such a quality publication. And of course to Jim for proposing this project and seeing it through to a successful conclusion. Jim's commitment to the subject, his diligence in completing the research in Greece and in Australia, and his dedication to producing a book in which we can all be proud of is truly impressive. As has been mentioned earlier, Grecian Adventure is also a welcome companion to his earlier work, Lemnos and Gallipoli Revealed, which told of how Greece was present at the birth of Australia's Anzac story at Gallipoli. Grecian Adventure extends this understanding into the Second World War. Both publications share a desire to tell the story through the eyes of the participants themselves, with a keen and direct understanding of the ground they walked on, and what vividly revealed in the reproduction of many photographs taken by the Australian veterans themselves. For Papaflessas, whose members hail from Greece's Peloponnese region, we also thank Jim for bringing his eye to our part of Greece and to its part in Australia's Anzac story. I know that Grecian Adventure will be a welcome addition to the literature of the Greek campaign. I know you will join me in thanking Jim. Finally, thank you all for coming tonight, and I'd like to invite you all to our club this weekend in Thornbury, 1 p.m, in celebrating the naming of Kalamata Lane in Thornbury, an initiative of our club supported by a local council which commemorates the link between Melbourne and Kalamata in war and in peace. We hope to see you there. Thank you all.